Hello and welcome to Team Knack's Week 2 video walkthrough. So this week the team has been hard at work at trying to implement some new features that we hope would make the game a bit fun and trying to expand on some of the current ones that we have. So right off the back I want to just start off with one of the main ones we've been working on. So you can see that in the main menu we've gone ahead and implemented a continue button. So what this does is it allows the player to, every time they go through a checkpoint, the game saves, and the certain data is pulled from the player by the checkpoint handler, and then tossed over to a level manager, and then level manager then saves the information into a save file, so that if the player decides to exit the game, return back at a later time, he can come back and start off right where he left off. Um, what's pretty cool is that if there isn't a save file, then the continue button is not interactable. So the player is not. I mean, they can come in here and they can hit continue all they want or the area, but nothing will come up. So we'll show that right now while it's working. So we start a game. You have your checkpoint right there. We'll open up the level manager. You can see that automatically it gets the scene name, so we can make sure that the player is loading back to the correct scene. And then we have the values that we want to take from the checkpoint or the player and toss into the level manager so that the game controller can create a save file for it. As the player walks into the checkpoint, you can see that everything gets populated. We can shoot, and as we walk through, now we're on plasma level 91. Everything else remains the same. Our X, Y, and Z coordinates on the transforms are stored in. If we decide to exit the game and go back in, now we have a save file that we can select from. We have our continue button here, and we haven't fully implemented it yet. We still have some issues to work out and just some things that we still need to do. So what we've done to kind of just test out what we've got up to this point is we have our player manager that will kind of work the same exact way as the player. So we want the information coming from the save file to go into the player. And that's pretty much what this level manager kind of serves purpose for until we can get that working. So if you can see that all the values are blanked out, there's nothing in there. Levels empty is no, but as soon as we hit continue, everything gets populated again, exactly where it was last left off, and the player starts back at his original position. Another feature that we've been working on. So last week we had introduced our new weapon. It was our plasma gun. You only had 3 directions you could shoot from. It was either straight. If you pushed the W button, you would aim up, and if you would push the S button, it would aim down. We've gone ahead, and one of the team member in charge of that has implemented a full 360 range. So now the gun follows the cursor of the mouse. He's also gone ahead and added a crosshair to just kind of show the player where they're aiming at and where they want to shoot, which was pretty cool. The animation still needs to get redone, because right now it kind of looks like there's just players' shoulders kind of swerving all over the place. But I thought that was pretty cool implementation. Another design issue here. So now this was actually one of the feedbacks where the player would come in here and we had the boulder come down, but there was nothing to let the player know that there was something there. So now as soon as the player enters his room, there's a trigger. It kind of just shows like there's rocks coming off, and there's audio to the boulder. So now as the player walks by, you can hear the boulder. And if you see there, now we have our new stamina bar, which we've added. We were able to outrun that boulder as it was catching up to us. So the boulder, that new dash feature that we've added, takes the forward speed and increases it by 5. Since we've already used it, now we've got to wait for our stamina bar to refill. If we try to push the F button to use it again, it won't work. Okay, so we'll wait for it to come up so we can show you. So we've added an indication that says plus speed to let the player know that it's activated and it allows them to run. So all right. So now we have our stamina bar full. If we look here, we have our forward speed that's 11. If we push it, it's now 16. You have your particle effects, and now he's moving. He's gone. But it only lasts for a few seconds. So the player needs to sit there and wait for it to reload again before they're able to use it again. Um, what else? There was other implementations that we've done to levels as well, to try to correct most of the feedback that was done. Also, with the save load feature, one of the other things we're trying to work to is to get the options, the save, the volume and sound effects to save as well. So if I decide to lower these and exit and go back in, then essentially the way it would work is those values would be stored as well. We've also added new audio mixers. So now everything works. Instead of having different audios for different levels and sound effects for the boulders and the plasma rifle or the plasma gun and the moles and the attacks, what we've done is we've gone ahead and kind of researched a bit into the audio mixers to get everything to be controlled from the actual option buttons, which they work. So you have it where it kind of changes the volume. You can see the main menu go up and down, and everything beneath that gets adjusted as well. So we'll have all the levels added in there, and then we also have a mixer for the sound effects as well, which we've gone ahead and started implementing level 1, so that you don't have one thing sounding louder than another whenever you initially had set the sound effects or lower the sound effects at the main menu. Another thing that we're working on as well is to trying to get this. So the way it works right now is the options or the main menu is the way. Make this drop down. So here, the options. What it is a canvas that comes up. What we want to try to do now is make the option screen its own scene. That way, the player can access all those volumes, all those options that are in the volume. Let's go ahead and open it back up. The volume control and the sound effects within the game as well, not just in the main menu. I mean, we sat there. I think as a design point, it would be kind of frustrating for the player to start a game and realize that they want to hear something, but they gotta exit the game completely and go back in before they can mess with the volume and the sound effects again. So that's something that we picked on kind of last minute, so it hasn't been implemented yet, but it's the direction where we're headed to right now. And that's pretty much it so far. We've got some other changes that we're working on right now. The enemies, so I think the enemies was something that we really wanted to tackle on this milestone, and we've gotten to a point now where the enemies follow the player whenever the player comes within a certain range of the enemy. There's still some bugs that are kind of getting worked out, but that's the direction where we're headed with that. We felt like we needed the enemies to feel more engaged with the player rather than just having the enemies move from point A to point B and then back to point A. It just felt too dull. So we're hoping that by the end of the milestone 2, we can have that fully functional and be able to display it for the video walkthrough for week 3. So, but we hope you enjoy some of the changes we've made, and we look forward to hearing your feedback. So thank you very much.